Okay, the first inductee tonight will be Eugene McCune. And for his introduction, I want to introduce you now to Kevin McCune. Kevin?
Hello, everybody. So, thank you, Alice, for your service to Indiana and everything you've done. Well, this is going to be a first for me, for many reasons. First speech, I'm not going to get yelled at for standing still. Well, we just want to say thank you to everybody that voted my dad in. I mean, it's a great honor. I believe that he's one of a few father-sons, if not the only father-son, to go into the Hall of Fame in Indiana, which is a great accomplishment. I mean, not many people can say they can go into the Hall of Fame with their dad. I mean, I'm honored now that I get to bowl on tour, and he still bowls on tour. So it's a great feeling to be able to go and bowl with your dad and do something with them. So for me, it hits home a little bit. I mean, hopefully one day I can also get in. I mean, that'd be a heck of an achievement for me. I mean, everybody knows my dad's bowled on tour for 30 years. He's done some incredible things in bowling. I mean, he was in New York when I was born and headed home through Niagara Falls, I believe. I hear it all the time from him. So he was bowling when I was coming into the world. So he was doing what he loved, and I wish that I can have the same passion he did for this game. His dad brought him into the game, and he's done some incredible things. He has 2 scoring records that will probably never be broken. I mean, averaging 274 for 9 games is something incredible, especially on a sports shot. Not many people can say, hey, I averaged 274 for 9 games. I mean, it's been done a couple other times on a house shot, but he was bowling on 33 feet. He's been able to do some things in this game that many wish that they could ever achieve. Not many people can say that their dad has beat Walter A. Williams Jr., Pete Weber, and Norm Duke for his 3 titles on the regular tour. 3 of the best bowlers in the world, and still competing to this day. There's a lot more things that I can say about my dad, but he's given me the gift of being able to go to high school, play baseball, and then go to college and play baseball, and then bowl in college with Mike Kabaki at Calumet College. And now I'm bowling on tour because of everything he taught me. My Grandpa Don taught me, my Grandpa Bob taught me, my mom taught me. There's a lot of bowling in our family, and he's just the main piece of it. He's kind of put everything together. I mean, along with my Aunt Chris. I mean, they're just a bowling family. And like my dad tells me all the time, when he was little, his dad would tell him he couldn't do something, so he'd bet a quarter, and he'd go and do it. I wish I got that same bet, but he knew I'd win his money. So, but I mean, I'm really grateful that you guys put him into the Hall of Fame, and I'm sure he is. We all are. And thank you for everything. And here's my dad.
Eugene, on behalf of Melissa McDaniel and the Board of Directors and our staff at the USBC headquarters, it's my privilege to present you with this certificate and recognizing your induction at the Indiana State USBC Hall of Fame. Congratulations, sir. Then the best hardware here, so the Indiana State USBC and the Hall of Fame ring that goes with your induction. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Oh, it's kind of hard to follow that. Boy, I don't even know who that kid was. But he is right. I mean, I was in Albany, New York, and I think it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it'll be fine. My wife had a son before mine, so I have a stepson, Mike, also. So, and she's like, oh, I was in labor forever. And I'm like, all right, well, if I go about 90, I can get home probably in about 8 hours or so. And I got to Niagara Falls. And the Sean Rash woman, and she called and said, oh, you got a baby boy. I'm like, my whole life, before you have a kid, you're like, boy, those people are stupid. What, are they running around telling people they had a kid? So I got to the toll booth going into Canada, and I go, I just had a baby boy! I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell's going on with me. But yeah, so I was trying to get to Canada so I could say I was out of the country, at the time. But yeah, so, yeah, that was probably one of the best moments of my life. But now getting to bowling, my dad bowled on tour, so I think my first time I went to see him bowl on a TV show was in Milwaukee. And he ended up winning. So then all I remember is they put a whole bunch of Milwaukee Miller Lite beer in the car. I mean, back then you only had a few bowling balls. It's not like today where you had 50 in your car. I think they filled up the whole thing. I swear to God, I was 15 and we still had all that beer down in the basement. But so then after I was about 5 years old, and then I started bowling probably USBC tournaments when I was 8, regular league. And then I think 14 I started bowling adult leagues. So that's when I started bowling more with my dad, bowling everywhere, just like Kevin is now with me. And we had classic leagues back then, so you'd actually have people telling you, hey, move here, move there, and everybody was always paying attention, unlike today's, where you got 4 phones out, oh, it's my turn? But yeah, so I grew up with a lot of Hall of Famers, Elfie Cohen, Bill Slatteritz, Al Bruder. You could just go, the list goes on, who used to bowl in the Northwest Indiana. So just by bowling with the greater bowlers, you're going to become good. There's no way about it. But yeah, so following that, I started bowling. I think I bowled a couple state tournaments when I was young, and then I started bowling professionally. And Tom Sims out of Fox Bowling, Illinois, gave me my first chance to get on tour. He sponsored me, so I was, the guy takes I think I went on tour the first year with Steve Jarris. You guys might have heard of him. And we were driving across country with ice this thick on our windows because it was January. We get all the way out to Alameda, California. And this is my first tournament. I'm 18 years old in LA. And I'm like, okay, we're bowling. I don't think I made the cut, or I was close to the cash, but Amaletto didn't make the cut. So he goes, Eugene, can you give me a ride to the airport? I said, I'm like, I'm in LA. Alameda's 30, 40 minutes away, and he's like, take you to LA airport. I said, okay. I get there, I'm driving, and it's like, oh my God, this is like the stuff you see on TV, right? And it's like, you get to the airport, he goes, oh, you tingle, very much, tingle. And I go, where's the gas money? But so me and Steve roomed that whole year, and I did okay, but not sensational. So I got a new sponsor next year. John Loxes from Olympia Lanes put me in. So I went out there and had a decent year, and then he sponsored me for another year, and it was fun. We were bowling 30 weeks out of a year, so I was never home. So I was like, it's amazing how you can be on the road for 30 years and be out on the road without a map. You look at your phone, it's a map. We had this big thing that we had to, we didn't have a phone in the middle of nowhere. So my first experience was when I bowled Marshall Holman when I made top 24 the one time, and he's like, I had the front 4 at him, and he came back and he left a 3, 9, 10, and he went up there and threw it. Comes back and goes, that's for you, and knocks the clipboard off the thing. I guess he was talking to the person in the back, but he goes, then I went up there and doubled, and I went, that's for you. And he goes, oh, gee, man, I was talking to that lady in the back. And it was funny because of what happened with Pete Weber this last like a week ago, I just brought it up. I said, oh my God, that's almost the same thing. But, so, let's see. So, my first year I made the TV show was 1992. I think I was leading a tournament in Winter Haven, Florida, and I think I shot 250 under for 6 games. I said, that was great. Go from leading to out of the cash. Go to the next tournament in Miami. 5 games, I averaged about 160 again. I said, I'm going home. I flew home, didn't touch a ball, took a plane to Erie, was landing in a little prop plane, and it goes like this, and I go, oh my God, right? Made my first show. I'm like, the worst 2 weeks of my life bowling, the 11 games, to turn that into your first TV show. And that was like, wow. That was amazing. So then the next year I made a couple TV shows, and what he was talking about, I set a record. You know, you just go up there and you throw the ball and the ball goes in the pocket. It's just amazing how you can average 274 for 9 games and then win all your games, so you're actually averaging 304. I said, that's pretty good. But, so my first one was against Walter Ray Williams in Grand Rapids. And my wife, and the TV show guy here, he made the show. He had his own sitcom during it. I mean, they had the camera on him longer than he had on any bowler bowling that day. But and my stepson was there, so just to have them there when you're watching your first bowl, your first title, I mean, and that was the first time I won, and I got a little crazy, but the sports psychiatrist said you had to be yourself, so, you know, you just got to be crazy. So then I won, went to pick up Kevin. Of course, he's like, don't let me go. I'm holding him up with the trophy. So you can't forget those moments, Kev. He was really little then, unlike now. But yeah, and then my next title was against Pete Weber, and it was the first webcast show. And nobody saw it because it just didn't come out very good. So I never got to see that video. So yeah, beating Pete Weber was unbelievable, along with Walter Ray. And then my last one was Norm Duke, where I went up there and had a strike out, get a strike in the 10th, the last ball, and got it. First one, I'm like, all right, let's hit the pocket. And it's like, got about right here. I said, oh my God, will you please let the ball go? And I go fourth, and I go, oh my God, thank God. That's usually like a 4-9, you know, when you make that little bit of mistake. But I swear to God, that was like an hour and a half right through here. And then I remembered when I was young, every shot was for the Tournament of Champions. And I'd get up there, and I'd say, all right, this is for the Tournament of Champions. And I'd run it out like 20 lanes. And I'd do that every day almost. And I got up there and I said, I need this one to win. I need a strike here. And I went up there, didn't feel a thing. Ball went back, ball went forward, 10 in the pit. It's just amazing what a mind can do. When thinking one thing versus the other, how clear you can be. But my wife told me I was supposed to thank everybody first, so I wouldn't forget. But I would like to thank everybody for the USBC for voting me in, and just being in the Hall of Fame with my father is something that I won't forget. And I'm sure Kevin, he's already got a master's title, which I don't have in Indiana. So he already holds that against me. I got a second, but not a first, so I don't think I can get it. I tried to bowl this year, and just to make sure I got one, too. Yeah, it didn't work out too well. I'm gonna have to stick with senior stuff. But yeah, and then I'd like to thank my wife, because without her, she raised them. God, another Rash moment. Rash gave a speech and started crying every time he brought something up. Sean Rash. And, but I was gone 30 weeks a year, and she took care of everything. So, thank you very much, and I appreciate everything.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.